track on skin color. It doesn't exactly track, on birth to certain parents of a certain ethnic group. So, this is, I think, one of the interesting things you get when you study countries like India. You start to see that humans can be awful to each other in surprisingly new ways. So you don't want to get sedimented in your ways of thinking. So Ambedkar shows that the resources of Europe, namely through John Dewey in America, might be one of the more valuable resources to battle caste oppression in India. If Ambedkar would have took the resources of the native traditions like Gandhi, this wouldn't have given him any legs to stand on, as we saw with the dispute in the 1930s. So this is one of my answers to a very complex question. There are going to be many books written on race in the U.S. in the next few years. Hopefully, my colleagues from India, including you all, will get caste oppression and caste inequality into this discourse, because I think everyone in academia has their blind spots. As Richard Rorty said, they're often based upon the reading lists our advisors to us when we were in school. So in the West, we have certain ways of looking at things. And too often the caste struggle for justice is not in those Western discourses. So hopefully both of these unique forms of awful oppression will get the complex analyses they deserve.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Scott, for answering this additional question.
All right.
Okay.
Well, thank you so
now,
much, my friends.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now we'll move on to the keynote address by a renowned scholar of Buddhism and my old friend from DHU, Dr. Bimalendra Kumar. Professor Bimalendra Kumar did his PhD in Buddhist studies from University of Delhi in 1990 and has been teaching since then for 29 years in various universities such as Delhi University, Vishwa Bharati University, Shantiniketan, West Bengal, and Banaras Hindu University, Varanasi, Uttar Pradesh. Currently, he is working as a professor and head Department of Pali and Buddhist Studies, Faculty of Arts, Banaras Hindu University. He has 6 years of research experience during his doctoral and postdoctoral education. His areas of interest are Pali Theravada Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy, that is Abhidhamma philosophy, and Tibetan Buddhism. He has a total of 12 books to his credit as an editor. He has published more than 100 articles and has been editor of Mahabodhi and Dharmadut journals being published by Mahabodhi Society of India, Kolkata, and Sarnata respectively. He has been in action at various national and international seminars, workshops and conferences. He has visiting assignments at different universities. He has been also coordinator and convener of many conferences. He has been on numerous academic bodies of universities, an expert member of selection committees of universities, institutes, and many academic bodies, and as a member of the governing bodies of the organizations. He has also served as a member of various expert committees constituted by University Grant Commission of India, National Testing Agency, Government of India. He has been appointed as an external examiner for Master of Buddhist Studies program of the Center of Buddhist Studies, the University of Hong Kong for 3 years from 2017 till 2019. He has been awarded Vishesha Puraskara on Text, Visajja Manusaja, Puddhati Devanagari edition by Uttar Pradesh Sanskrit Academy, Lucknow for the year 2016. With this brief introduction, I now invite Dr. Bimalendra Kumarji for his keynote address. Over to Bimalendra Kumar.
So thank you very much, Dr. Sudesh Bohate. Today is Ashad Purnima, Dhammachak Pavatan Divas also. So first of all, I would like to pay my respects to all my Gurudev, teachers, and senior persons, parents, and other colleagues of the. It is indeed a matter of great pleasure for me to get associated with this international webinar on the relevance of Noble Eightfold Path in the contemporary world. I am really thankful to the organizing committee of this international webinar on this very burning topic and which has been selected for this our current pandemic issues which we are facing nowadays. This international webinar is being organized by our Rashtra Sant Tukoji Nagpur University as well as Nagari Prachar Sabha, Nagpur. So I'm really thankful to the organizing committee for giving me an opportunity to speak on this very topic. As we know that Buddhism is a psycho-ethical thought and practice which takes a being from the state of suffering to the state of eternal bliss. As a thought, Paryakti, it says that a man is a composition of 5 aggregates. The suffering is associated with that. There is a cessation of the suffering, and how there is a path which leads towards the cessation of the suffering. As a practice or patipatti, Buddhism also says that there are some efforts through which, or practices through which a person can get a state of eternal bliss. So, in between that, Buddha has prescribed a path which is called as middle path or eightfold path. Before coming to this, in Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, we also find that Buddha says that Dvime anta pavijitena na savitabba. O monks, 2 extremes are not to be followed by a person who has renounced their household life. What are those 2 extremes? Katma dve anta kamesu kam sukhilikanu yogo hino gammo pathajan ko anaryo anat sahito ubhu athkil mathanu yogo ubho anta majma pati hino gammo pathajan ko anaryo anat sahito. It is said that there are 2 types of extremes, kamesu sukhilikanu yogo and athkil mathanu yogo. That is the association of the sensual pleasures and the association with the self-mortifications. And in between that, Buddha has said that there is a middle path. Ubho anta majma patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha chakshu karni yan karni upsamaya nibbanaya samadhati. Again, there is a question that katma chasa bhikkhave majma patipada tathagatena abhisambuddha chakshu karni yan karni upsamaya nibbanaya samadhati. Ayame ariya thangi ko maggo. Chetitam sammaditthi, samma sankappo, samma vacha, samma kamanto, samma ajimo, samma vyamo, samma sati, samma samadhi. So these are the 8-fold path. From the sammaditthi till samma samadhi. Again, Buddha also says that I speak only 2 things, that there is a suffering and there is a cessation of suffering. That dveme bhikkhave desemi dukkham cha dukh nirodham cha. That in between that he has given this 8-fold path, that is the middle path. It is also called as Majjhima Patipada. And this through middle path, there are you can say, 3-stepped way of getting a state of eternal bliss. All these 8-fold paths have been divided into 3, that is the Seal, Samadhi and Panya. So first 2, Sammaditthi and Samma Sankappo, are signifying the Panya, that is the right understanding. And Samma Vacha, Samma Kamanto, Samma Vacha, Samma Kamanto, Samma Ajimo, these 3 are called as Seal. And the remaining Samma Vyamo, Samma Sati, Samma Samadhi, these are signifying the Samadhi. These 8-fold paths are also counted as a foundation stone or basic path for starting Bodhipakkhiya Dhamma. In Mahaparinibbana Sutta also, Buddha says that these 8-fold path has been counted as a base or foundation for observing the 37 factors of enlightenment. So this 8-fold path has a great significance or great relevance for getting a state of eternal bliss. As we know that the seal is the physio-vocal culture, it curtails the physical vocal misdeeds. It curtails the physical, that is the panatipata, adinnadana, bermani, and vocal, that is musavada, vishnavachara, falsavacha, and sampalapo. So seal or morality is the physico-vocal cultures. It curtails the 3 types of physical and 4 types of vocal misdeeds. Again, this samadhi is the mental culture. It removes the 5 types of hindrances, nivarnas, and it prepares a base for starting the Roop Samadhi and Arup Samadhi through the 5 types of Jhanangas and 4 types of Arup Jhana. And lastly, that is the Panya. These 3 types of, the Panya is the mental culture. It prepares the mind for getting a state of eternal bliss. It has been said that it removes the darkness of the ignorance, and it says that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So this is the Panya. I will discuss the Eightfold Path in a very brief manner based upon the Pali text, and I will discuss that how these Eightfold Path are relevant or significant in present contemporary world also. As we see that in the first is called as right understanding, that is the Sammaditthi. Sammadassanam ti Sammaditthi. That it has been defined as Dukkhe Yanam, Dukh Samudaya Yanam, Dukh Nirodham Yanam, Dukh Nirodhagamni Patipadaya Yanam, Id Pachayata Yanam, Patisamutpannesu Dhammesu Yanam, Aprantam Yanam, Pubantam Yanam, Pubanta Aprantam Yanam. So it is the knowledge of the Four Noble Truth. It is the knowledge of the conditionality. It is the knowledge of the law of dependent origination. It is the knowledge of our understanding of the past existence, present existence, and both previous and present existence. So this is the Sammaditthi. Again, there is a sutta also in Majjhima Nikaya which is called as Sammaditthi. In Sammaditthi, which has been uttered by Dham Senapati Sariputta, the Sammaditthi has been explained or discussed in a very detailed manner. In a very brief manner, I will say that first of all, in Sammaditthi Sutta, it has been said that what are the 10 types of Kusala Mula, what is the Kusala Mula, and what are the Akusala Mula, and what are the Akusal Hetus. So after that, one who knows what is Kusala, what is Akusala, what are the Kusal Hetu, and what are the Akusal Hetu, he is in position of the right understanding or the Sammaditthi. Again, it is said that one who knows the origin of, that is the what is the ahara, what is the ahar samudaya, what is the ahar nirodha, and ahar nirodha gamani patipada, then he is in the position of the right understanding or the Sammaditthi. Again, it is said that one who knows that there is a suffering, there is a cause of suffering, there is a cessation of suffering, there is a path which leads towards the cessation of suffering, he is in the position of the right understanding or Sammaditthi. Again, one who knows the law of dependent origination, 12 links of the Anulomana and Patinlomana, then he is in the position of the right understanding. And in the last, one who knows what are the 4 kinds of asavas, kamasav, bhavasav, dittiyasav, vijjavasav, and what are the causes of the asavas, what are the cessation of the asavas, what are the path which leads towards the cessation of the suffering, asavas, he is in the position of a right understanding. So in that way, it is said that there is a right understanding. So one who knows the Four Noble Truth, law of dependent origination, law of conditionality, he is in the position of the right understanding. So in that way, we say that this right understanding is whenever this right understanding has great significance in the present sense also, that it leads us to know that what are the things which are impermanent, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So due to this right understanding, we are able to know the nature of the reality, Dhamm Swabhav. And this is very significant in present day also, that how through the right understanding, we will be able to know that all things are subject to impermanence. Whatever the pandemic nowadays, it is prevalent, it will go one day, and we have to exert ourselves to remove this pandemic COVID-19. Again, the second is called as Samma Sankappo, right determination or right thought. In the text, it has been said, Nekham Sankappo, Abhyapad Sankappo, and Avihinsa Sankappo, the Samma Sankappo, renouncing the household life and a right determination or right thought related with the friendliness or love or universal friendliness, and a right determination related with the avihinsa, that is the compassion, is called as a right determination or samma sankappo. Now, these three, they come to sankappo, that is the renouncing the household life. After, whenever we hear the teachings of the Buddha, we are thinking to renounce our household life and taking a life of the recluse and performing or becoming a lay person or laity also. So in that way, this Nekham Sankappo or right determination is significant or relevant nowadays also. Then second is called as Abhyapad Sankappo. Here Abhyapad is right, you can say friendliness. Abhyapad is defined as adosa, and adoso ti metta, metta ti parhit kamata, that whenever there is a desire to help others, this is called as adosa or abhyapada. So a right determination related with that, how all the persons be happy. This is that sabbe satta bhavantu sukhitatta or sab bhavatu sab mangalam. This type of thinking or determination or thought is called as abhyapad sankappo. Even in Dhamma Sangani also, which is the first text of Abhidhamma Pitaka, this adosa or metta has been defined in a different manner. So it has been said as, just I will say that how this yo adoso adudasana adusittam metti mettayana mettayitattam anudaya anudayata anudayitatam ite sita anukampa abhyapad abhyapajyo adoso, then kushal mool ayam buchyati adoso. So here adosa or abhyapad has been discussed as ite sitita or anukampa, that it is in the sense of compassion also or karuna also. Again, the last, it is called avihinsa sankappo, that right determination related with the avihinsa, that here avihinsa is the karuna, compassion. Karuna has been defined as it is not only a verbal sympathy after seeing the suffering of others, but it is an effort to enter into the suffering of the others, and how there must be a effort to remove that suffering, is called as compassion. Karuna has been defined as kam iti dukkham, runati iti tam pavisati vinasai bhaimati cha. That par hadanam kampanam ti dukh karuna. That after seeing the hadai kampanam, the suffering of the others, and then there is a desire to enter into the suffering of the others and making an effort of removing that suffering is called as compassion. So here right determination is also relevant in present time or in a present pandemic time, that how we make an effort to remove all these enmity or hatred, and how we have to develop our compassion towards all the living persons, then this is called as Avihimsa Sankappo. The third is called as here again these three which are wrong intentions, which we have Nekham Sankappo, Abhyapad Sankappo, and Avihimsa Sankappo. So three all are important in our present time also. So third is called as Samma Vacha, that is the right speech. It has been said Musa Vada Birati, Pisuna Vacha Birati, Farsa Vacha Birati, Samphalai Birmani. These four are called as a right speech. That refraining from telling a lie, refraining from harsh speech, refraining from ignoble speech, these are called as a right speech. So abstinence from false speech, from lying persons is relevant nowadays also, that we have to be honest and how we have to be truthful to other persons also. So in that way, this Musa Vada Birmani, that telling, refraining from telling lie, this is also relevant to in present time also. In the same way, harsh speech, that Pisuna Vacha Birmani, that is speaking to other persons in a harsh manner, this is also not good in present time. So this Pisuna Vacha, Farsa Vacha, Sampalapa, all four types of speech are relevant in present time also, that how we have to behave in a proper manner with the persons of the society as well as in the family members also. So then we can develop our good environment or universal friendliness in our society. So fourth is called as Samma Kamanto, that Panati Pata Bermani, Adinna Dana Bermani, Kamesu Mixachara Bermani Ti Samma Kamanto. So three types of actions are called as right actions. Here Panati Pata Bermani, that refraining from killing a living being. Here Pan Atipat, that killing a living being. Here Panoti Satto, Sattoti Naro, Naroti Mano Usadham iti Manuso. So that one whose mind is more elevated than other animals, then he is called as a living, as a nar or sat. So here, killing a killing a living being is also relevant, refraining from killing a living being. So this is also relevant in our present times. It gives a sense of the ahimsa also. Nowadays, there is in pandemic society, so we can how develop this ahimsa. Even Acharya Nagarjuna was asked to summarize his teachings in one word. Then Nagarjuna replied that all the teachings of the Buddha has only one essence, that is called as ahimsa. So ahimsa, that is the Panatipata Bermani, has great relevance nowadays also. And through ahimsa, we can develop our, because wherever there is ahimsa, there is the arising of the pramad also. And due to pramad, there is a conflict society, conflict in the family members also, conflict in the society. So in that way, we have to remove this ahimsa. So panati pata bhermani, this is also segment. Again, adhinna dana bhermani, refraining from taking a thing which is not given to you. So that's also relevant nowadays also, that we have to be honest in our present time also. And even if you see that Sangha is also not supposed to take any things. All the wealth goes to the, not in the name of any persons or any bhikkhu or none, but it goes in the name of the Sangha. So in that way, there is no any concept of property in the Sangha also. So in that way, we are not supposed to take anything. And again, we have to be very careful in taking the thing, whatever we desire. And here it is said that ghasa chhadan paramtai bhikkhu sant bhikkhu hoti. So in that way, we have to be very satisfied whatever we have to sustain our only body and how we have to sustain our things. In that way, the third is called as that is adinadan kamesu mikshachara bhermani, that refraining from indulging sexual deeds. So be faithful to our family members. So here a wife is supposed to be very much faithful to her husband, and a husband is also supposed to be faithful to her his wife also. So in that way, one should not indulge in sexual misdeeds. In that way, the society can be very peaceful. There will be a good environment in the society also. So this kamesu michachara also creates a problem in our society. So nowadays in this pandemic society, this kamesu michachara bhermani is also relevant in the present time. So next is called as samma ajivo. That michha ajiv pahai samma ajiv kena kapeti iti samma ajivo. That removing from all types of michha ditti is called as a samma ajiva, that is the right livelihood. In Brahmajala Sutta, we are having the 62 types of michha ditti, and they have been divided into different headings also. Again, ditti, we are also having that sasato lokotiva, sato lokotiva, tam jivam tam sariram, ayam jivam ayam sariram, hoti tathagato paramarnativa, hoti tathagato no hoti tathagato paramarnam tiva. So 10 types of abhyakat pahiyo. These 10 types related with the Saswatavad, eternalism, and the Uchchedavad, and relativism, they are also called as michhaditti. So refraining from all these types of, you can say, they are called as michhaditti. Again, in the Dhammasangani, that ditti has been defined as dukhe ayanam, dukh samuday ayanam, dukh nirodham ayanam, dukh nirodha gamni patipada ayanam, dukh nirodha gamni patipada ayanam, idhapachayata ayanam, patisamuspannesu dhammesu ayanam, aparantam ayanam. So like that, not knowing the Four Noble Truth, not knowing the law of dependent origination, not knowing the law of conditionality, all these are called as michha ajiva, that is the michha ditti. Again, in the text also, there are 5 types of professions which are called as a michha ajiva, a right livelihood, like Sat Banija, Sath Banija, Mans Banija, Bis Banija, or Maj Banija. So these types, 5 types of professions or the trades have been banned in Buddhism also. So one should not take a profession in these 5 types of business or the professions. So in the present time also, a person, all these due to time, lack of time, I will not explain all these. But in nowadays, in present pandemic situation also, this is profession in the weapon, profession in the human beings and other wine weapon. So these are also not relevant nowadays also. One who does these have been banned in present time also. So due to this pandemic, we must be very much careful that how we have to follow these right livelihood. So next is called as some right effort. That is the Samma Vyamo. So there are 4 types of right efforts. Upannanam akuslanam dhammanam pahanay vyamo. Upannanam akuslanam dhammanam na uppaday vyamo. Upannanam kuslanam dhammanam uppaday vyamo. And upannam kuslanam dhammanam Bepullai Thitiya Samosai Vyamo. So these 4 types of right effort have been said by the Buddha, that the immoral dhammas which have already arisen, they must be uprooted. And there must be an effort that not to arise the immoral dhammas again. And there must be an effort to arise the moral dhammas. And again, that how the moral dhammas which have been already arising, they must be established, they must be established, and they must be developed in a more developed manner. So these are the 4 types. So in the present pandemic situations, we must be very much sincere in our performing or following the 4 types of efforts, that how the moral dhammas, that antipathy or hatred which are arising in our mind, they must be uprooted. And the moral dhammas like Maitri, Karuna, Mudita and Upekha and other moral dhammas which are arising in our mind, they must stay, they must be established, and they must be cultivated or developed in a more developed manner. So these one should be very much aware of that. The next is called as Samma Sati, right mindfulness or right awareness. So here Sati, as we know that Buddha says that, O Bhikkhave, Sati Dwariko Vyeti Badami. O monks, I call mindfulness as a doorkeeper. As a doorkeeper does not allow any undesirable person to enter into the house, in the same way, Sati or mindfulness or awareness does not allow any undesirable immoral factors to arise on the surface of mind. In the Satipatthana Sutta also, Buddha says that ekayano ayam maggo sattanam visuddhiya jadidam chattaro satipatthana kayanupassana, vedananupassana, chittanupassana, dhammanupassana. So there are 4 types of mindfulness which have been said by the Buddha. And now in present times, so this mindfulness is the only path for getting a state of eternal bliss, or for getting a realization of a state of eternal bliss, nirvana. So there are 4 types of mindfulness. That is the Kayanupassana, being aware of all the activities of our body. There are 32 parts of our body, and being aware of each and every part of our body is called as Kayanupassana. Vedananupassana, here Vedana is called as Anubhavan Lakkanati Vedana, that being experienced after having touched the object is called as Vedana. There are 5 types of Vedana. So Manas Vedana, Sukha Vedana, Dukha Vedana, and Domanas Vedana, and Upekha Vedana. So being aware or being alert of all these 5 types of feeling or Vedana is called as Vedananupassana. Again, Chitta Anupassana. Here Chitta is called as Chetana Aham Bhikkave Kammam Badami. So all the actions, they are, whether they are moral or immoral, they are called as consciousness. So being aware of all 89 or 121 types of consciousness is called as Chittanupassana. And lastly, Dhammanupassana, that all the teachings of the Buddha like Nivarana, Dhanangas, Four Noble Truth, Eightfold Path, Law of Dependent Generations. So being aware of all the teachings of the Dhamma is called as Dhammanupassana. So nowadays in this pandemic situation, again, there is a concept of social distancing in this pandemic COVID-19. So here social distancing is in the sense of physical distancing. Physical distancing is in the sense that we must be aware of all the activities of our body. So one must not, in the pandemic time, we must maintain a distance, physical distance among the people. So here, being aware of Kaya Nupassana and feeling of all the, you can say, persons, one must not hurt the feeling of others. So in that way, so Manas and Domanas, Dukha Vedana and Sukha Vedana, one must be aware of all these types of feelings. Then this is called. So here in the present time, this is a right mindfulness, or Samma Sati is also relevant nowadays. So lastly is called as Samma Sati. So as we have seen that right mindfulness, here Sati is the heart of the meditation. So after the mindfulness, there starts the Samadhi. So here Samadhi is Kusal Chittas Ekagatati Samadhi. One-pointedness of moral consciousness is called as Samadhi. So here Samadhi is of 2 types, Rup Samadhi and Arup Samadhi. So the concentration or meditation which is being achieved on the objects which have form and color, they are called Rup Samadhi. They are 5 in number. That is the Vitak Vichar Piti Sukha Ekta Saitam Patham Jhanam, Dutiya Jhanam, Tatiya Jhanam, Chaturtha Jhanam, and Pancham Jhanam. And there are 4 types of Arup Jhan also. So being aware of all these 5 types of Jhanangas, that is the Rup Jhan, and 4 types of Arup Jhan is called as the right concentrations or Samma Samadhi. So in the present time also, a person must be very much calm and patient also. We see that there is a need of Samatha and Vipassana. So through the Samadhi, a person, the Rup Samadhi, a person can perform the Samatha, calming the mind, and Vipassana, through that a person is able to know that all things are subject to impermanence, all things are subject to suffering, and all dhammas are subject to soulless. So through the Vipassana has been also defined as Anicca Adi Visesh Prakare Passati iti Vipassana. So like Samatha and Vipassana, through that we can also develop our peace, calm in the society. So in this present pandemic situation, a person is supposed to follow the right concentrations or right meditations, that following the Sati and Samadhi. These last 2, that is the last 3, that is the Samma Vyamo, Samma Sati, and Samma Samadhi. These are very much relevant or significant in the present situation also for controlling our pandemic situations. So in that way, we can control our society. So I have taken much time. I was given only half an hour. So if there is time, then I can continue. Otherwise, I can stop here. So Sudesh, is there any time, or I can stop here? Hello. So in the last, I would like to say that I am very much thankful to the organizing committee and giving me an opportunity to share my thoughts on the relevance of Eightfold Path in the contemporary time. So I am very much thankful. So I am ready to answer the questions which are being asked by the participants in this webinar. So thank you, Sudesh Bote and Niraj
Yes,
Bodhi, giving me time.
Yes,
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much,
very much,
sir.
sir, for your resourceful speech, and you have given broad theme of the title we have decided for this one-day international webinar. I mean, you have covered the entire aspect of this particular, theme which we expected from you, and we are really happy to listen to you through your discussions, through all the insight you pour into your presentation. So, while you were talking about in the initial part of your speech, you were talking about the Majjhima Patipada. So how do you, how do you relate this Majjhima Patipada with the later developed Shunyavada?
Sunyavad, it was propounded by Acharya Nagarjuna in the Madhyamakarika. So here Acharya Nagarjuna in Mula Madhyamakarika or in Madhyamik thought, he says that all things are void, whether it is mental or non-mental, you can say the material things, they all are void. Everything is dependent on some cause and conditions. And Nagarjuna says that all things are dependent on some cause and conditions. And it says that all things are causal and all things are dependent on the hetu pratyay, alaman pratyay, adhipati pratyay, and samanantar pratyay. So these these eightfold path are nothing but they are the void, and they are related with the, you can say, things which is related with in the eightfold, in the Madhyamik thought. So sometimes this eightfold path, they are also correlated with the this Madhyamik thought in a different manner also. So it is very difficult to correlate all these Theravada traditions, that how eightfold path is called as Sunyavad, or that is the Sunya. But in Sanjukta Nikaya also there is a Sutta in Buddha also says that all things are Sunya, and in Sutta Nipat also there is a concept of this Sunya. So some of the scholars are of the opinion that this Sunya has been taken in that way. So whatever the Buddha says also in Alagadupumo Sutta, Buddha says that whatever the things, if you find, if they are related with the eightfold path, then you think that this is called as teachings of the Buddha. In Mahaparinibbana Sutta also, Buddha was approached by some of the monks that after your departure, you will not have any, you can say, teacher. Then Buddha says that Dham and Vinay will be your teachers. And then you have to find out the things which are allied, or you can say which are related with the Eightfold Path in that way. So Acharya Nagarjuna has related the Sunyata theory with the Eightfold Path in that way.
Okay. Sir, while you were discussing on the Kusala Karma and Akusala Karma, you mentioned that Akusala Karma somehow creates a conflict in community or sometimes in family. So in that case, how do you, how do you, relate this particular theory of Noble Eightfold Path in overcoming the conflict situation in community and in family itself?
Okay, thank you. So as we know that there are 89 types of consciousness, that is the Chitta, and there are 12 types of Akusala Chitta. There are 8 types of Lobha Mulaka, 2 types of Dosa Mulaka, and 2 types of Moh Mulaka. These 12 types of Chittas or the consciousness are related with the 14 kinds of Akusal Chetasikas also. That Akusal Chetasikas which are arising and switching with the our 12 types of Akusala Chitta. So these Akusala Chittas are like Man, Ditti, Ahankar, Kodha, Upnaha. So there are 14 types of Akusal Chittas also. So these are called as emotions also nowadays. Dalai Lama and other scholars that our mental factors are the emotions. So Akusal Chetasikas, which are 14 in number, they are akusal, that is the wrong emotions. So whenever the wrong emotions are arising in our mind, they must be uprooted by our good Chetasikas also, that is the Sobhan Chetasika. There are 25 types of Sobhan Chetasikas also, and they are called as beautiful or good emotions. So through good emotions, we can overcome on the, you can say, 14 types of Akusala Chetasikas like Man, Ahankar, Kodha, Upnaha. And among the 25 types of Kusala Chetasikas, we find also that is the our eightfold path also, and Karuna is also there. And Karuna, if you find that is there are 3 types of Viratis also. So the Samma Vacha, Samma Kamanto, Samma Ajivo. So these 3 are 3 Viratis are also there in that our Sobhana Chetasikas. So through Sobhana Chetasikas, we can remove our this Akusala Chetasikas. If you see in Avihinsa, that is the Samma Sankappo, that is the Nevkham Sankappo, Abhyapad Sankappo, and Avihinsa Sankappo. Here Avihinsa Sankappo is nothing but it is another name of Karuna, which is called as one of the 25 types of Kusala Chetasikas or mental factor or psychic factor. So through this Karuna, we can remove our that is the Akusal Chittas. So here Akusal Kamma, they are the 3 types of physical actions, 4 types of vocal actions, and 3 types of mental actions. So through the, even Buddha also says that Chaitana Bhikkave Kammam Vadami Chetitva Kai Kammam Vachi Kammam Mano Kammam. So here Chaitana is the main psychic factors through which we do all our moral or immoral actions, and whether it is physical actions or vocal actions or mental actions. So through eightfold path, through the 8 kinds of right path, we can remove the akusal actions also.
Sir,
Thank you, Sudev sir.
Mobile में बोलो.
Thank you, Sudev. Next.
Sir, Neeraj has question for you. Neeraj Bodi
Yes,
sir
yes.
has question.
Sir, one question from my colleague. That
Yes, yes.
how can we enhance our mindfulness in a present pandemic situation?
How can?
How can we enhance our mindfulness in a present pandemic situation?
So mindfulness, as I have already discussed that here Samma Sati, that here Sati is ekaino evam maggo sattanam visuddhiya nibbanas sasi kriya jadidam chattaro sati patthana kayanupassana, vedanaupassana, chittanupassana and dhammanupassana. Here kayanupassana, that is the being anupassana is being aware that if a person is being alert or aware of all the 32 types of body and the activities done by our actions, that how we have to behave properly through the legs, through the hands, through the eye, through the mouth and through our five senses. So being aware of these kayanupassana, so in this pandemic situation, now there is a concept of physical distancing, that a person is supposed to be keep distance from one another. So in that way, kayanupassana also significant in that manner that whenever we are in the outside the house, we must be very much careful or aware that there must be physical distancing among the persons, and whenever we speak something, we must put a mask, or you can say the thing outside our mouth, so that there must be not infection through the mouth or through the nose in that way also. So being aware of all the activities of our body or our senses, this is called as kayanupassana. So in the same way, Vedana, that how one must be aware of all the 5 types of feeling, that is the mental pleasant feeling, physical pleasant feeling, then mental unpleasant feeling, and then physical unpleasant feeling, and then indifferent feeling, upekha. So how a person is very much aware of all these 5 types of feeling is also called. So in the present pandemic time also, one must be very much aware of respecting the feeling of the others, how we have to behave properly, so that the feelings of the or sentiments of the other persons should not hurt. So in that way, this is called as Vedananupassana. And regarding the Chittanupassana, that how one must be aware of all the 89, or you can say 12 types of Kusala Chitta, 21 types of Kusala Chitta, 36 types of Vipaka Chitta, and 20 types of Kriya Chitta. Being aware of all these types of consciousness is called as Chittanupassana. So here, Chitta Kriya, that is the actions done by our actions. So all the actions are being guided by our consciousness. So in that way, we have to be very much aware or being careful. And in that way, our this Chittanupassana is also relevant in present time also. And the lastly, our Dhammanupassana, that how the Dhammanupassana, that being aware of all the teachings of the Buddha, Four Noble Truth, Eightfold Path, law of dependent originations, and other, we can bring the universal brotherhood or peace in the society. So in that way, this right mindfulness or Sammasati is relevant in present time also.
Yeah. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you very much.
हाँ सर, एक प्रश्न है जो मोहन वानखेड़े सर, डॉक्टर मोहन वानखेड़े सर ने पूछा है।
जी
उनका कहना है कि तथागत बुद्ध को आलार कलाम और उद्धत रामपुत्र का निधन हुआ, यह अंतर ध्यान से देखा उन्होंने, ऐसा
हम्म।
उल्लेख साहित्य में मिलता है। तो यह अंतर ध्यान क्या है, कृपया हम जानना चाहते हैं।
ये 6 प्रकार के अभिज्ञा कहे जाते हैं, इंट्यूटिव नॉलेज जिसको कहते हैं हम लोग, जिसमें हम लोग दिव्य चक्षु, जिसको दिव्य चक्षु कहते हैं, दिव्य चक्षु, परचित बीजाननम एंड आसव खयान, दिव्य सोत. So like दिव्य चक्षु, दिव्य सोत, परचित बीजानन, आसव खयान, there are 6 types of abhigya, that is the, you can say, intuitive knowledge. So there are, through this intuitive knowledge, Buddha was able to know that his teacher, Alar Kalam and Uddaka Ramaputta, they have expired or they have passed away. So when Buddha got enlightenment, he decided to preach. Then he thought, first of all, his two teachers from whom he had learnt about the Rupa Jhan and Arupa Jhan. And after that, how this Dev Sanya, Na Sanya, Aitan, so this was known by our Buddha himself, by his own effort also. So then through this abhigya, or you can say idhvidyan, so that was called as idhvidyan, that is the knowledge of the miraculous power. Through this miraculous power, there are 6 types of avigya, that is the Dibasot, Dibachacho, Parachit Bijananan, and Idvidyan and Asav Khayan. So through Idvidyan, miraculous power, Buddha was able to know that his previous teachers, Alar Kalam and Uddaka Ramput, have already passed away. Thank you. Any more question, Suresh
Yes,
sir?
sir.
हाँ.
Dr. Rajendra Kumar Verma wants some clarification on the concept of rebirth in relation to Buddhism.
Buddhism does not believe in rebirth, or you can say, as we know that Buddhism does not believe in the no soul, Tabbe Dhamma Anatta, whenever we say that here there is no concept of soul. In the Milinda Pahyo also, whenever a question is being asked by King Milinda, that who takes birth, or you can say before that he has discussed that na het puggalo palavti sankha samaya payati boharo namamattam jadidam nag seno sur seno bir seno siha seno, that there is no permanent entity in the personality of a being. There is in Hinduism we say that there is a permanent entity, or there is a creator, there is an almighty God who has created this world. But Buddhism does not believe in that concept, and it says that everything is dependent on some cause and conditions. And in the personality of a being, there is no permanent essence also. And it is said that a man is a composition of mind and matter, Nam and Rupa. And in another way, it is said that a man is a composition of Panchakhanda, Rupa Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhar Khanda, Beyond Khanda. So there are 5 types of aggregates through which a personality is being made. Again, there is a question that Kopatisandhati, who takes birth, then Buddha says that Namam Rupam cha Kopatisandhati, that this Nama Rupa, that Nam is the Chitta Chetsika Dhammanam Ti Namam. So here Nam is the composition of the consciousness and the psychic factors. That is the Chitta and Chetasika. That is the 89 types of chitta and rupa khanda, vedana khanda, sanya khanda, and sankhar khanda. So Nam is only, that is the beyond 89 types of consciousness, and vedana, sanya, and sankhar, they are forming the concept of Nam. And Rup is called as Chattaro cha Mahabhuta Chatunnam cha Mahabhutanam Upadai Idam Bucchati Sabbam Rupam.